Learning how to harness our help us get through all kind of situations in life. Doctors Richard Levack and Adria O'Donnell from the San Diego Psych Association are back this morning along with our special guest, Mark Devine, a retired Navy SEAL and author of the book 8 Weeks to See SEAL Fit. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Let's get to our first viewer question, which says, I'm a 30-year-old woman going through a divorce, and I haven't been sleeping well at all. I've gained weight, and I'm drinking too much. I've been reading books about harnessing my mental power. How do I find the mental strength to get through the divorce and come out the other side with a good life? Mark, do you want to take the reins on that one first?
This is it's a tough call, but I think that getting through something this challenging requires you to step back from it and to really assess what was positive about the circumstances, what was positive about the marriage, and then to really lock onto that positive aspect and to hold it and to literally start to dialogue internally around the positive aspects instead of obsessing about the negative.
And Mark, I think from a psychologist's point of view, looking at your marriage not as a catastrophic loss is a really good idea. And then know that divorce is terrifying for most people and that fear is controllable.
Right.
I'm sure Navy SEALs control their fear all the time. And then start to, on a daily basis, think about what can I do to take charge today to create a new life.
It just feels so overwhelming. I think she's been married a long time and you've decided your life is going to be a certain way and you've played it out in your mind. You've got a picture of how it's going to end. And all of a sudden, halfway through the story, it switches to a different ending and it takes a while to adjust. So I think you allow yourself time to grieve and you allow yourself to really feel what you're feeling. But the longer that goes on, the more permanent that becomes. So you have to give yourself space, and then at some point you set a goal and you say, okay, I'm going to wallow for about this many weeks and then I have to do something about it.
But don't you take, I mean, grieving, people think that involves being sad for a long time. I think what Mark was saying is a good idea to say, it wasn't all bad, I've learned a lot, I'm only 30, what can I do today to feel better about myself?
But if you didn't want the divorce, I think it's different. If you just feel left and lost, you have a little bit more than just what was good about that, because I'm working with some people that aren't ready to let go, but they're forced to let go, and so they're forced to have it pried out of their hands. It's harder.
I think you can greatly accelerate the grieving process through just gaining control of what's going on in your mind and that chatter and paying attention to the internal dialogue. And I think that's one of the things we try to teach in our training is like what dialogue is going on. Pay attention. One quick exercise that we offer, put a rubber band in, snap it every once in a while, and then ask yourself in that second that you snap that rubber band, what wolf am I feeding? Are you feeding the courage wolf or the fear wolf? And you want to keep feeding the courage wolf, and so it's a way to kind of redirect your
And when I work with kids, we call it the worry bully.
Nice.
It's the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a really good.
Okay, let's get to our next viewer question, which says, I'm a 35-year-old female professional, and I've just had a bad evaluation at work. I was told to take mindfulness and self-awareness classes. I'm embarrassed to ask the question, but what is mindfulness and awareness development? That's actually a good question, I think.
Well, what we know from psychology is long periods of stress lead to people becoming numb. And they almost go on automatic pilot and are unaware of what they're feeling. And as they're unaware, negative emotions get leaked out as criticisms, judgment, irritability. And mindfulness is taking time to think about what you're feeling so that you deal with it rather than leak it out unconsciously. And you were saying something about that.
Yes, I think that I call it the Art of Obviousness. There's a subconscious programming within us that is so utterly obvious that we don't see it. And typically it's negative, right? Typically it's unsupportive or unhealthy. And so the only way to really allow yourself to see and to feel that background of obviousness is to settle into moments of silence and contemplation. And so I recommend just taking it, even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning, to just sit and watch your breath. And breath awareness is a fantastic place to start awareness development.
And being aware of what you're thinking, because I think you probably, once the negative thoughts, it's easy to continue and continue down this
They
path.
go down a rabbit hole of this long abyss. So it's
Sure.
hard to be still. There's so many things pulling at you all the time, but it's a great idea to start. Or like you said, you take the time, you stop it, and you say, what's going on in my mind? and that chatter that you were talking about. There's always dialogue going on. And it just starts with knowing what is awareness. That starts there. Now I'm going to be aware of what awareness is, and it just starts with that.
Now, Adria, you and I were just talking before the show about how some of our patients are so unaware. Even in the session, they're being jabbing of their husband or wife, and they're unaware that they're being hostile or irritable because they're on automatic pilot. So taking a moment to think about what you're feeling and label it so that you can manage it rather than act it out.
Very good. Okay, let's get to our next question. I am 25 years old and out of college for 3 years, and I cannot find a good job. You are not alone. I have been told that I should visualize what I want, and that'll help me get it. I have no idea how to do that. Please describe what visualization is and exactly how it works.
Well, go on, do you want to
take a crack at that?
Yeah.
First of all, visualization was kind of the subject of The Secret, and it's only part of the solution, right? You've got to ground visualization in really adequate, effective goal setting, and then massive action.
Just so people know, The Secret is a really popular book, self-help book. And
visualization is extremely effective. I want to, get that point across. And so, to visualize properly, there's really two methods. One is to what I call kind of a becoming or a future me visualization, is to really select a very strong image of the type of person you want to be. The powerful, the leader, the executive, the job holder, right, in the high-paying job. And then to cultivate that image and to add a lot of emotionality and sensations and color and richness to it, come back to that image time and time again, because it'll solidify it in your mind. And as we do that, and we firm up that image, then that energy, according to The Secret and the laws of quantum physics, will start to attract energy.
Like you said, there has to be attainable goals. If you're 23 and you say, I just want to make $1 million, well, what is that? What do you want to be doing every day? You need really tangible, written down, and attainable. Sometimes we set a goal that's so far in advance, then we say, well, I can't get a good job. Well, what does good mean?
Oh, so vague.
So vague. And what does that feel like? So you've got to be able to write it down, and articulate it can help you. Articulating it can help you.
It's a very simple example would be going on vacation. If you stop and actually visualize each day and what you're going to be doing, so you can pack what you're going to wear. People who don't visualize bring all the wrong things because they haven't taken a moment to think, what am I going to be doing? And that's visualization.
Okay, interesting.
One last point on this, because this is so critical for her, is to start to really, really connect with what your why is, what your purpose is, and instead of just looking for a job, get clear about what you're supposed to be doing, what you see yourself doing 5 years, 10 years, and then look for that job.
Is it just a job to pay the rent, or do you actually have a version of yourself you're trying to evolve to the next level too?
And realizing that it's a process, that you're not just going to shoot right to your goal. It was interesting, I saw online the other day this picture, and it was a straight line up, and the caption said, what people think success looks like is just a straight, and then it says what success really looks like, and it's a line, and then it's all squiggly, and it goes backwards and up, and then it continues up. And I think that's so true, because you look at somebody's life,
life
and you're
is the detour.
They've got it all together. It's so easy for them, and it's not always the case. So thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. Once again, Mark Divine's book is called 8 Weeks to Seal Fit, and you can get in touch with any of our experts by going to our website, fox5sandiego.com, and clicking on that Scene on Tap. Thank you once again. Good stuff. Really good stuff, Raul. What are you visualizing this morning, Raul?
My whole life is a squiggly line like the one you just mentioned, ironically enough. That's how I see things. In the past, in the future, but I guess that's a good thing. Thank you, guys. Yes. It's 9:15 now, still ahead.